This is part 2, episode 143. A beautiful figure was seated on a chair in a somewhat restrained manner within the hall. The lady was wearing a pale green clothes. Her lovely body with alluring curves appeared extremely enchanting while being wrapped under her clothes. However, that pretty face appeared a little haggard when compared to the past. Those beautiful eyes of hers would repeatedly sweep outside of the hall when she picked up a teacup. Creak. While she was sitting uneasily, the tightly shut door of the hall was slowly pushed open. Immediately, a familiar young figure slowly walked in. Naylan Yenran's pretty eyes watched the young man, who had pushed open the door and entered. A complicated emotion flashed across her eyes. She had naturally heard about the matters regarding Xiao Yan in the Central Plains during these years. No one could expect that the latter would actually be able to do extremely well for himself within this Central Plains that was filled with many experts, after they separated at the Heavenly Mountain blood pool back then. Although her heart possessed some unknown bitterness, Naylan Yenran quickly suppressed it. The current her was also no longer that sentimental girl from back then. She was clearly aware of just how big of a gap she had with Xiao Yan now. All the various arrogance of hers in the past was completely useless in front of this man. Are you well? You had already left when I came out from the Heavenly Mountain blood pool back then. Xiao Yang walked into the hall. He looked at the haggard face before sighing in his heart and softly asked. I had something to do back then. Therefore, I was unable to stay. Naylan Yenran nodded. For some unknown reason, her heart actually felt a little anxious when she spoke with Xiao Yang. This kind of anxious likely originated from their current status and strength. The matter of a Ban Xing appearing in the Falling Star Pavilion had already spread wildly in the Central Plains. Although an expert of this level was extremely distant to Naylan Yenran, she still understood the meaning of this level. Even if one did not mention that the Ban Xing was Xiao Yang's teacher, just Xiao Yang's current strength alone was sufficient for he, who had relied on the strength from the Heavenly Mountain blood pool to luckily break through to the Do Zone class, to look up to. I think that something has happened for you to come to the Falling Star Pavilion to look for me this time around, no? Xiao Yang's heart had some kind of unknown feeling when he saw Naylan Yenran's somewhat uneasy manner. This lady in front of him should originally be the woman who would accompany him for his entire life. However, they had ended up nearly becoming strangers. Naylan Yenran's hand was tightened when she heard this. She hesitated for a moment before speaking. I wish to ask you to help teacher. As expected. Xiao Yang's heart also beat slightly when he heard these words. His gaze was focused as he softly said, "Speak clearly." That woman, who was once the most noble person in the Jioma Empire, and was the first to have a fascinating ambiguous relationship with him, ultimately possessed quite a great amount of weight in Xiao Yang's heart. Back then, he was enemies with the Misty Cloud sect. Being the chief of the Misty Cloud sect, she was caught between the two of them. That pain from having to choose was something that only she was clearly aware of. After which, Xiao Yang had returned and destroyed the sect, which had groomed her. Originally, she ought to hate Xiao Yang. In the end, however, she chose to go far away and leave the empire that gave her bitter memories. Following his current maturity, Xiao Yang, who had lost the vigor from back then, had also gradually understand some of the pain she had felt. There was a vague heartache and apology in his heart. She had never appeared during these years. Although Xiao Yang understood that she, who was in the Central Plains, had definitely heard some rumors about him, she had never come to find him. This seemingly strong woman, who had a weak heart, appeared to be only able to use this method to escape from the pain that was hidden deep within her heart. I have acted on my own and come, originally, teacher does not allow me to come and look for you. Naylan Yenran laughed bitterly. Xiao Yang nodded slightly. He was not surprised about this. Given Yunyun's character, even if she really ended up meeting any trouble that she could not settle, it was likely that she would not come and look for him. This woman was stubborn to the point it gave one a heartache. I should have told you the last time. Soon after teacher and I have arrived at the Central Plains, we ended up joining the Flower Sect, Naylan Yenran slowly explained. This sect is a little unique. It only accepts females. Moreover, it does not possess a strong aggression like the other factions. If one was to describe it, it was just hermit sect. Xiao Yan greatly agreed with this point. Compared with the profound sky sect, which was one of the two sects, the flower sect did indeed keep a much lower profile. We have joined this sect only because teacher liked the atmosphere there. Therefore, she took a guest elder position. Teacher and I stayed there for a prolonged period. Originally, if no accident occurred, someone like teacher and I would not stir much ripple within the flower sect. After all, with our strength, we can only be considered average within the flower sect. A bitter smile also surfaced on Nalan Yenran's face when she spoke until this point. She continued, this situation had likely started on the second year after teacher and I joined the flower sect. At that time, teacher and I found a mountain within the territory of the flower sect to stay. Normally, no one came to visit us. Originally, the both of us also thought that the two of us were the only ones on the mountain. However, who could expect that teacher would find a cave when she was randomly roaming around? There was an old woman with crippled legs within the cave. Some fluctuations also rose within Xiao Yang's eyes when he heard this. The temperament of this old woman was tricky and strange. She directly used her hand to strike teacher and sent her flying after discovering her. Teacher had suffered some injuries because of this. However, she was not only not angry, but had even delivered food to that old woman every day. This delivery lasted for 2 years. After 2 years, that old woman was finally willing to leave the cave. She stayed together with us for a year. Xiao Yang laughed bitterly and shook his head when he heard this. Delivering food for 2 years. To think that Yun had actually managed to think about it. Just how kind must a person be in order to do this? After that old woman had lived with us for 1 year, her temper became much better. At that time, we were finally aware that she calls herself Granny Hua. However, we were uncertain of just what she does. Moreover, we did not discover that she was an expert, Nalan Yangran sighed. However, this old granny did not seem to be able to live for long. She had reached the end of her life after having lived with us for a year. However, when she was about to reach her limit, she used a strange technique, without explaining anything, to seal all of her do qi within teacher's body. Moreover, she even gave teacher a jade tablet and asked her to become the chief of the flower sect. Nalan Yangran raised her head to look at Xiao Yang, who had opened his mouth when she spoke until this point. She laughed bitterly. Do you find it bizarre? We also felt that it was incredulous at that time. Teacher had personally examined this Granny Hua when rescuing her. There was not the least bit of do qi within the latter's body. However, from the performance of Granny Hua on her last day, she was obviously an extremely powerful person, whose strength is at the peak of the Do Zun class. Xiao Yang's mouth moved. By randomly finding a place to stay, one actually ended up with such a lucky encounter. What was called fortune? This was fortune. Compared to this, Xiao Yang, who had trained bitterly, could just find a rock and knock himself to death. Teacher was quite helpless in the face of this kind of sudden situation. However, she was not interested in being the whatever chief of the flower sect. Therefore, after having buried Granny Hua, she continued to stay at that place. Who could have expected that the acting chief of the flower sect would actually suddenly appear half a year ago, and ask teacher to hand over the chief's jade tablet? Teacher did not wish to be meddlesome. Therefore, she handed the jade tablet over after some thought. In the end, that woman had come looking for us soon after obtaining the jade tablet. This time around, she wants the do qi of Granny Hua that was sealed within teacher's body. A fury surfaced on Nalan Yenran's face when she spoke until this point. Clearly, she was extremely furious towards this woman who wanted a foot when given an inch. What strength does this chief of the flower sect has? Xiao Yang asked. She is only the acting chief. However, she also possessed the strength of a 4-star Do Zun. However, the one who is troublesome to deal with is not her. Instead, it is her male companion. Yao Hua Liang Jun. This person possessed the strength of a 6-star Do Zun. Nalan Yangran helplessly said. A 6-star Do Zun her, Xiao Yang's finger gently tapped on the table. The flower sect was indeed worthy of being one of the two sects. A 6-star Do Zun could be considered quite great even in the entire Central Plains. Yun has obtained the inheritance of that Granny Hua, but she is no match for the two. Xiao Yang spoke with some surprise. How can teacher refine that enormous amount of Do Qi within a short period of time? Nalan Yangran laughed bitterly and said. Currently, that seal has already merged into teacher's body. If one takes it out, it will definitely take teacher's life. That evil woman clearly intends to take teacher's life. Fortunately, it seemed that Granny Hua has arranged something when she was still alive. Hence, quite a number of elders are standing on teacher's side. Hence, that woman don't dare to forcefully snatch it. However, she had already issued a bet and wished to have a match with teacher. It should originally be considered fair if it is a match. However, the flower sect possess a kind of strange rule. The rule is that a man and woman can fight an opponent together. In other words, that woman can fight together with Yao Hua Liangjun. Nalan Yangran laughed bitterly. Fight together? Xiao Yang knitted his brows slightly when she heard this. A 4-star Do Zun and a 6-star Do Zun. This was really bullying. Teacher has already agreed to this match. I think that she had become irritated from being constantly pestered. Does she not have a brain? Xiao Yang involuntarily cried out furiously. Was this not delivering oneself to die? Nalan Yangran sighed softly. Her pretty eyes looked at the young man in front, whose face contained a trace of anger. She said, therefore, I can only secretly come and look for you. If you do not intervene, teacher will likely end up dying this time, therefore, please help teacher, all right? Xiao Yang slowly sighed when he heard Nalan Yenran's weak voice that was pleading. He asked in a deep voice, how long more is there until the match? Half a month. Half a month, her. Xiao Yang knitted his brows slightly when he heard this. It was likely that it would take over 10 days for one to hurry from this place to the flower sect. From the looks of it, it seemed that he was a little pressed for time. Is that sect chief the only one in the flower sect who oppose Yun? What about the other experts? The flower sect can be considered a big faction with a long inheritance. The sect definitely possess quite a strong foundation. If the entire flower sect cannot accept Yun, it is likely that the other party will not take it lying down even if this trouble is settled unless one leave this sect. The flower sect does indeed possess quite a strong foundation. However, most of the true experts from the older generations spend their time in continuous retreat. If these older generations' experts are still in the sect, that woman would not be the one becoming the acting sect chief. As for the other elders, most of them are loyal to Granny Hua. They will naturally not have any objections to Granny Hua testaments. The only problem is that woman, Nalan Yangran explained. This is the case, her. Xiao Yang nodded slightly. His expression warmed a little. If that woman is the only one who oppose, it would be easily to resolve the matter. Just go if you wish to. An elderly voice was suddenly transmitted over when Xiao Yang was in deep thought. Yao Lao's figure had appeared on a chair beside him at some unknown time and spoke smilingly towards him. Teacher. Xiao Yang was startled when he saw this. Immediately, he nodded. This matter was related to Yun. He would naturally be unable to shrink for it. Regardless of what the case was, he must make a trip to this flower sect. Nalan Yangran, by the side, became restrained when she saw Yao Lao. The current her was already aware of the reputation and status that Yao Lao possessed in the Central Plains. It was only natural for her to feel a little uneasy in front of such a big shot. It is unexpected that even that old woman Hua Yu has reached her limit. Yao Lao glanced at Nalan Yangran before sighing quietly and said. Xiao Yang was startled upon hearing Yao Lao's sigh. Immediately, he understood that this so-called old woman Hua Yu was the mysterious Granny Hua that Nalan Yangran spoke of. Immediately, he asked in a surprised manner, does teacher know her? This old woman became famous on the Central Plains much earlier than me. She could also be considered an extremely exciting and great person. Back then, I had the opportunity to meet her a couple of times. She is haughty and possesses many opponents. As for her crippled legs, it should be something that have happened after my incident. It is likely that she has suffered an extremely serious injury. Otherwise, her end would not come so quickly. Yao Lao nodded. Immediately, he smilingly said, however, that Yun Yun is also considered quite fortunate. She is actually able to obtain the inheritance from this old woman. This old woman has never accepted any disciples all her life. Her character is eccentric, and does not trust anyone easily. However, that Yun Yun is able to obtain her trust. It must be said that she is a determined and blessed person. The flower sect possess many experts. That acting chief is not a cause for concern. With your current strength, it is not difficult to deal with her. The one who is a little more troublesome to deal with is her male companion Yao Hua Liangjun. However, I think that you should be able to deal with it. Yao Lao smiled. He flicked his finger, and a cream-white jade tablet flew towards Xiao Yan. This is a spatial jade tablet that I have created. Should you meet with a situation that you cannot handle, you can shatter it. I will hurry over as fast as I can. Some of those old fellows from the flower sect owes me a favor from back then. Once you say my name, it is likely that they will not make things difficult for you. Xiao Yang immediately sensed the vast and mighty spatial strength within the jade tablet when he received it. A surprise flashed across his eyes as he nodded towards Yao Lao. Qing Lin and I shall head over this time around. Tian Huazunja and Little Fairy Doctor are all undertaking a retreat and training. It is not nice to disturb them. Xiao Yang hesitated before speaking. In any case, with his current strength, he would be able to successfully escape even when meeting a 7-star Dozun expert. Moreover, Qing Lin might only possess the strength of a 1-star Dozun, but after summoning the ancient heaven serpent spirit, she possessed a great strength that could fight against a 6-star elite Dozun. It is better for Tian Huazunja to remain here. I am thinking of a way to allow him to regain his peak strength. Although you have helped Little Fairy Doctor refine a poison pill, the true strength of Little Fairy Doctor's woeful poison body has also yet to be completely unleashed. I will aid her during this period of them. The next time you return, it is likely that you will see the strength of these two soaring, Yao Lao smilingly said. That is good. Xiao Yang also spoke joyously. With Yao Lao acting personally, it should not be difficult for Tian Huazunja to regain his peak strength. On the matter of how to unleash most of the woeful poison body's strength, Xiao Yang would naturally be unable to compare with the incredibly experienced Yao Lao. If it is possible, help Yun Yun become the chief of the flower sect during this trip of yours there. The flower sect is extremely powerful. If she is able to become the chief, the Falling Star Pavilion will also gain another reliable ally. Xiao Yang's voice had just sounded when a weak, and like voice suddenly sounded beside his ear. His eyes were lifted, only to see Yao Lao moving his lips. Immediately, he nodded with a bitter smile. Ever since the Misty Cloud sect was forcefully disbanded by him back then, Yun Yun had been resistant towards something like being the chief of a sect. Who could tell whether she will be willing to become the chief of the flower sect? All of you should also get moving. There is not much time left. After seeing Xiao Yang nodding, Yao Lao smiled, waved his hand and said, Understood. Xiao Yang nodded. He turned around and walked out of the hall. Nalan Yang ran behind, bowed respectfully to Yao Lao before hurriedly followed. After leaving the hall, Xiao Yang looked for Qing Lin. Subsequently, he ceased remaining any longer as he got Nalan Yang ran to lead the way. The three of them hurried to the flower sect without stopping. The flower sect was located towards the western region of the Central Plains. There was quite a distance between it and the Falling Star Pavilion. Even with the speed of Xiao Yang trio, it was likely that they would need over 10 days to reach it. Fortunately, Qing Lin had summoned an expert from the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe after having left the Falling Star Pavilion. Finally, she ordered him to transform into his actual body. The three of them rode on it. Only then did they avoid the bitterness from rushing about. An enormous black body shuttled through the clouds in the distant sky. When the enormous body twitched, a wave of low and deep rushing wind sound would appear. Xiao Yang sat on the back of the snake. Although the body of the 9 serene deep-ground python was covered with icy cold slippery scales, his body did not even move a little. Wild wind rushed past his ear, but his hair did not even make the slightest movement. At this moment, Xiao Yang had his eyes tightly shut. His mind had sunk deep into his brows. The bone-chilling flame was slowly emitting an unusual temperature at that spot. It was different from the other flames. This kind of flame would give one an extremely icy cold feeling. However, within this icy chillness hid a wild and violent hot energy. These two opposing energy merged perfectly together, causing one to involuntarily praise the mysteriousness of this world. Xiao Yang's brows was where his spiritual strength lingered. However, it was fortunate that Xiao Yang had already planted a spiritual imprint into the current bone-chilling flame. Hence, the mysterious temperature did not bring about any discomfort to Xiao Yang's soul. Instead, it caused his spiritual fluctuation to become increasingly lively. The bone-chilling flame burned fiercely. That white fire seal between Xiao Yang's brows was also emitting a slight light. At this moment, he was continuously and slowly merging his spiritual strength into the bone-chilling flame. This heavenly flame had been refined by Yao Lao for many years. Even though Yao Lao had already removed his spiritual imprint, the flame still had some vague resistance towards other souls. What Xiao Yang needed to do was to gradually allow the bone-chilling flame to get used to him, his new owner, and resolve the resistance. Originally, this should be a process that exhausts a great amount of time. However, on the first attempt by Xiao Yang to strengthen the familiarity between the two, he suddenly discovered that the bone-chilling flame's acceptance towards him had far exceeded his expectation. On top of causing him to be surprised, it also gave him great joy. Xiao Yang only needed to think for a moment before understanding this kind of transformation. When Yao Lao was captured back then, he had sealed the bone-chilling flame within Xiao Yang's body. The latter had also gained control over it. After being together for all these years, Xiao Yang could actually also be considered the second owner of the bone-chilling flame. Currently this second owner was advancing to become the main owner. The familiarity between the two would naturally soar swiftly. According to this speed, Xiao Yang guessed that he would be able to use the flame mantra to refine the bone-chilling flame very soon. This kind of speed, perhaps even Yao Lao would not have expected it. During the subsequent journey, Xiao Yang would basically focus his mind and allow his soul to merge with the bone-chilling flame. Under this endurance and hard work of his, the resistance within the bone-chilling flame swiftly became weaker with each day. Xiao Yang shut his eyes and sunk his mind into his body on the enormous snake back. Even his breathing had become much weaker. The fire seal between his brows slowly emitted a faint glow while he breathed. Nalan Yangran and Qing Lin by the side turned their eyes away after glancing at this situation of his. They had basically already gotten used to this act of Xiao Yang during this period of time. When these two people turned their eyes away, Xiao Yang's tightly shut eyes trembled slightly. The fire seal between his brows suddenly emitted a glaring fire glow. In the next instant, the fire seal appeared to have been revived. It slowly wiggled and actually seeped into Xiao Yang's skin. Finally, it disappeared. This sudden unexpected change had also caused Nalan Yangran and Qing Lin to be startled. Before they could speak, Xiao Yang's tightly shut eyes were slowly opened. His dark black eyes currently had a dense white flame burning within it. At this moment, the resistance within the bone-chilling flame had actually been completely refined and removed by Xiao Yang. This video will end here.